What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the GoodeBaker podcast. I'm Nick Baker. Across from me, Shane Good.
Glass. Glass is the name. Glass is the game. Back to you, Nick Baker.
Wow, that was like the beginning of a rap album or something.
See, I was going for the 007, like Bond is the name, but I couldn't think of anything, and there was a glass beside me, so we went with glass.
Well, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. It's 3 days after Thanksgiving?
Yeah, it's 3 days, 4 days, 3 days.
4 days after Thanksgiving, 3 days, something to that effect.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3.
3 days. We figured it out.
Evening.
And we're moving on to Christmas now. I have that
dude, what do you mean?
Christmas music in the air.
Christmas tree's already up, dude.
Yeah, I don't see one.
It's I mean, the people across the street that had that massive window from us, they had their Christmas tree up.
Nice.
I watched them put it up the other night.
That's nice. Well, you can admire it from afar and not get those pine needles all over your floor.
Yeah, well, we have a fake tree because Deborah killed plant.
But anyway, so the season is upon us. What have you been playing this past week?
So I haven't gotten a chance to play a ton of stuff because work's been crazy. But I did play. I played a lot of Diablo, and I always will end up going back to League of Legends if I find myself with like an hour or like 45 minutes. I play a game of League because it's easy to just jump into and play.
Right.
But I ended I think my peak was top 7 in Diablo, and my current position and my average position is like top 25 to top 50.
Nice. Yeah, so that's still pretty good for part-timer.
Yeah. My one of my buddies actually, his team was top first place for 4 or 5 days in a row, and then they only just now got retaken essentially, and they're still top 10 consistently for 4-man pushes. They're already almost, I think they did a 136 or a 138, it's one or the other, and the highest you can go is 150. So it's kind of just like a race to see who can get 150 first.
Yeah. Well, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. What about yourself?
I beat Star Wars. Finally. Oh. So that was really great. The ending is worth trudging through a little bit of the struggle of the some of the buggy movement, maybe some of the just clipping and whatnot, but the game itself and the story that they're trying to tell really hit, and it's another Star Wars classic, I think. So that's pretty good.
That's dope.
Also have gotten all 8 badges in Pokemon, moving on to the Elite Four there. So we'll update next time, because originally this was supposed to be a Pokemon podcast. We were going to break down the new games, talk with our analyst, Paul.
Regional Pokemon expert.
Yeah, our regional Pokemon expert, Paul, and our not-so-regional Pokemon expert, Anthony. And I think that'll have to wait until next week. But for this week, we have something special lined up, just because it is that season, like I was saying before. It's the Game Awards season.
It is.
So we are going to talk about the Game Awards and some of the categories, some of the ones that we kind of give a shit about. Where like the role-playing games, the strategy games. Those are the type of games that we enjoy. So I figured I'd pick out the ones that were most interesting to us, and some of the ones that we'd know a little bit more about. Like some of the game director stuff might not be as savvy as in some other aspects, but. So, we're just going to kick it out right off, and we're going to go through and pick which one we think will win each category as we go down. And I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 categories, including Game of the Year. So, we'll go down through each one, starting with Role-Playing Game of the Year.
Okay. Role-Playing Game of the Year.
At first glance, I was like, there's not much here, but thinking back on it now, I did play at least 4 out of the 5 of these games. So the first nominee is Kingdom Hearts 3.
Okay.
Which I played at the beginning of the year. That game was great.
Yep.
Disco Elysium. I don't really know this one very well.
I don't either.
Right, so we'll have to look into that one. But Final Fantasy 14.
Okay.
Realm Reborn.
We've played that.
Monster Hunter World Iceborne. I assume that they mean the Final Fantasy XIV expansion Stormbringers.
I would
They're
imagine.
like lumping that in. But yeah, Monster Hunter World Iceborne and the Outer Worlds.
Okay. So I've played a total of none of those.
None of them? Not even, well, I guess you played Monster Hunter World though, like the
Well, I
the
played
base
the
game.
base game.
Right.
I didn't play the DLC.
So
So
you played Final Fantasy with me.
Oh, I did play Final Fantasy, you're right.
You've played a Kingdom Hearts game before, so you pretty much played 3.
Well, I've played all the other Kingdom Hearts except for 2.5 point whatever.
And you've also played Fallout, so you've also played the Outer Worlds. See, so now you've played just as many of them as I have. So, I don't know.
I see what you did there.
I think, yeah, we got there.
What's your...
Being the one that has actually played more of these games thoroughly, I think that it's fair, in my opinion, to give it to Kingdom Hearts 3, because I think out of these ones, that one resonated most with me. But I guess I play Final Fantasy XIV so much. It's a toss-up between those two. I might have to give it to 14 because I think I've had more congruent hours in 14.
Yeah.
And I have had more enjoyment, I guess.
If I had to pick, knowing what I personally know for this category, I'd probably pick Final Fantasy XIV. But there's also, like, there's a handful of games that I'm surprised aren't in this one. But
So we picked what we thought should win. What do you think is going to win?
I think Kingdom Hearts is going to win.
Kingdom Hearts?
Yeah.
I think that the Outer Worlds will win that category because I think that there are a lot of people that enjoyed that, and the flack that Fallout 76 had was like almost redeemed by Obsidian with this game. Not in like a huge way, but I think in an impactful enough way for it to push past Kingdom Hearts 3's fandom. And
You think that's why they put Fallout 76 out? Such a shitty game like that, they just put it out so they could win Game of the Year, or nope, they could win Role-Playing Game of the Year for
with Obsidian.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a strategy.
That's
right
a long
there.
play. That's a really
That's a long play.
But, yeah, I think that's my opinion. The Outer Worlds has a good a chance as any of those. I just don't think Monster Hunter World Iceborne brought back enough people. I know that the player base for that game is huge.
I feel like the player base is they're very hardcore.
Yeah.
Like, the people that picked it up and were like, this is awesome, are also still playing it, but the people like me that were like, yeah, okay, it's a Monster Hunter game. We're here. Probably played to, like, Monster Hunter level 15, and then we're like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah. Oh, what did you say? There's 150 more levels? Yep, I'm out.
Like,
see ya. But, yeah, so anyway, that's role-playing. On to strategy game of the year. Tropico 6.
Mm-hmm.
Total War 3 Kingdoms.
Okay.
War Groove.
Yo.
Fire Emblem 3 Houses.
Mm-hmm.
Anno 1800.
Mm-hmm.
And Age of Wonder Planetfall.
So I played 2 of these games.
I've played one of these games.
Well, you've played City Builders before, right?
Yeah.
So you played Tropico.
Yeah, I imagine that was pretty similar.
The big thing about Tropico, which I've played Tropico 6.
Right.
The big thing about Tropico 6 is it's a lot of micromanaging. The game genre that they did, I believe they did it really well.
Mm-hmm.
But Anno 1896? Is that what you said it was? 18, I forget the numbers.
Anno 1800.
1800, there we go.
Yeah.
Anno 1800 is the other one that I've played, but very, very briefly.
Mm-hmm.
The game looks really good. I just don't know too much about the mechanics for it. The other ones, I have no idea. Which one have you played?
I played Fire Emblem 3 Houses.
Yeah, that makes
obviously,
sense.
that'd be my pick to win this category just because of the sheer popularity.
Uh-huh.
Also, Wargroove was the play on... wow, it was on the tip of my tongue just a second ago. Advance Wars. It's like the spiritual successor to Advance Wars.
Interesting.
So, Yeah, I think Fire Emblem takes it for sure, and that would be my pick anyway. Just because I did enjoy what I did play of it. I didn't end up finishing it, which I do need to go back and do. But, Age of Wonder, Planetfall, that was one we covered a little while ago, and I was actually pretty interested in that. I might check that out because I haven't.
That's fair. I think my pick for this one would be, like, my personal pick would be Tropica 6.
Tropico 6?
But I don't think they're gonna win. Tropica 5 did win. It won a couple awards, but I can't see 6 winning. Not with the Fire Emblem game there. Mostly just because like the mass base of people that play Fire Emblem versus the mass base of people that plays Tropica 6, and just like the popularity of them. I think that the Fire Emblem game probably has a lot more pull, which I think will make a big difference in whether it wins. I could see Tropica 6 winning, like, a different game award, like the Steam Game Awards and stuff like that, because they frequently, like, that's how they won a lot of their awards for Tropica 5. Because, yet again, the game is, like, it does what it wants to do extremely well.
Right. It seems technically outstanding, for sure.
Oh, you can usually tell if if like a game like of the simulation city building base is good if you have a good processor and you can't go to like speed 4 or 5 because the game has to calculate so much shit. Mm-hmm. That's like a legit way of like if your computer lags at this point,
it's screwing you over. Yeah, we landed on Fire Emblem for that one.
Yeah.
The next category is that I chose was music.
Okay.
And I thought this one was interesting because there are a few of these games that I have played, and one that I've heard the soundtrack from but haven't played. It's so the first one, Kingdom Hearts 3. Mm-hmm. Sayonara Wild Hearts is the mobile / Switch title, I believe.
Yeah.
That it's sort of like a music video / kind of, I don't know, rhythm gamey type of idea. So Cadence Viral is the next one. Death Stranding and Devil May Cry 5 was the one that I heard the soundtrack from.
Yeah.
And it's actually pretty badass. I can't imagine that they don't have at least a little bit of a chance of winning this one just based on how much the music was pushed for that game before it.
Mm-hmm. I've heard soundtrack for 2 of those, so that Death Stranding and Devil May Cry as well. So
Death Stranding has a great chance too because of the way that the music was marketed in that game. I think a lot of people really liked Cadence of Hyrule.
Yep.
That's a really music-based game. Kingdom Hearts 3 has those classic like symphony sounds that Kingdom Hearts games always bring to the table. I love the Kingdom Hearts music, so I would choose that over the rest of them to win because it hits such a nail on the head for me as a fan. But if I was going to choose one to actually win, I think that Sayonara Wild Hearts actually takes this one just because of the popularity. I have heard so much about it, and Death Stranding was received so divisively.
Yeah.
That I think that's a good way to go for me. What about you?
So after obviously I know like what Kingdom Hearts usually brings to the table for music.
It's not much different than what you'd expect.
Yeah, I would personally, my pick and the one that I think that is gonna win is the same. I think the Devil May Cry game is gonna take it, and that would also be my personal pick because I heard the soundtrack for it and was like, damn, it's pretty badass.
Yeah,
like the fight scene music is pretty. It's pretty tight.
Oh my god, it's so super hyper metal. And
yeah. But it's
cool.
also like it's my genre of music as well.
Yeah.
So like
it's like everything's really fast. Those drum beats like.
Yeah.
It gets you going, gets you in that fight mood.
I feel like I'm listening to Avenged Sevenfold while I destroy people.
Exactly. So that is music. Moving on to multiplayer game of the year: Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Borderlands 3, Tetris 99, hanging in there tough, The Division 2, and Apex Legends.
And EVE Online.
And right in at the last second, EVE Online. What do you think about multiplayer game of the year? Is there really anything that can beat out Call of Duty?
I mean, honestly though, like, I said it joking when we were talking about this, like, pre-show. I kind of feel like Tetris 99 actually has, like, a decent chance here.
It does be. I think simply because there were a lot of people that picked it up to begin with because it was free and because
it's so unique.
Yeah, it is an interesting concept for a quote unquote battle royale game.
I mean, I think so. I think my pick, what I personally like, it probably. What I think will win is going to be Apex Legends. I think Apex Legends will win, mostly because they've done a good job at kind of bringing people back for the second season, and I think that makes a massive difference. Not to mention, I've seen, like, as somebody who watches Twitch, like, kind of consistently, I've seen the numbers of the amount of people that are playing Apex Legends consistently, and I mean, like, it kind of makes sense. I think that'll probably end up winning. Not to mention they do a good job in it. I think my personal pick is actually the Tetris game. Tetris 99, like, just because it's unique. It's something that's, like, it's a legitimate thing that people haven't done before. It's not a copy-paste game.
Right.
And, like, it's just...
Other than, Tetris.
Yeah, well, it picked up a ton of traction. So, like, I think I would like that one to win. That would be my pick for it.
Yeah, I think that's a Cinderella story,
I think,
to say the least. But I think that Call of Duty definitely takes this... Apex does shake it, I think, a little bit, because of just the sheer number of people that enjoyed that game, as opposed to some other Battle Royale games that launched not as well. Apex launched and it was solid from the get-go.
Yeah.
There really weren't any downsides until the content started to wear a little thin. People kind of got a little bit bored, and I think that that's where we haven't hit with Call of Duty, where everything's still fresh in people's minds. I think that...
I don't know about that one. Call of Duty being fresh.
Well, fresh as far as release date, maybe not in concept, but I think that they did do enough to change the multiplayer in Call of Duty, because they added a few different modes that made it seem more like...
the 1v1 tournament, the 2v2 tournaments. And
and then they added the Battlefield mode, where you have... I don't think it's 64 players, but it's a high number of players anyway.
Yeah.
But...
I mean, they definitely changed
they've been making strides, which is good for Activision, because usually that's not the case.
Yeah, for sure.
But... if I had to choose one, I think I would choose The Division, because I think that game was underrated as far as how well it hooked you into the gear loop. How consistently I was, like, it shocked me how well that game moved you forward to the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. Each mission seemed more and more unique. That was a big problem I had with the first one. The mission structure seemed really, really samey. And the second one, they really changed it up so that you really felt like it was... what you were doing was important.
Yeah. I mean, I only made it to World Class 2 on that. I didn't get to, like, the raid or anything like that.
No, yeah, me either. But I imagine that stuff, if you got deep into it, was still just as rewarding.
Yeah, it was very, like, it was a super solid game. It was super fun. I mean, obviously, I tend to lean more towards the more in-depth, customizable, like, looting games. That's that dungeon crawler in me. But for what it was, I think that it was super solid.
Yeah. So that's multiplayer. Onto, this is kind of, there was action, and then there was action adventure. So I just took action adventure. So action adventure game of the year: Resident Evil 2 remake.
Okay.
Control, Link's Awakening, Borderlands 3, Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice, and Death Stranding.
So, Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
No. Link's Awakening.
Yeah, like I said, Zelda Ocarina of Time should win this one. I know it came out, 26 years ago. Rough guess, don't quote.
Yeah, no, I got
you. No.
I wish, because, I definitely, well...
I don't know, man. There's actually some...
Resident Evil was so good.
Resident Evil was good. I haven't played the Link's game. I haven't played Death Stranding. I haven't played Sakura.
Borderlands 3 then? What do you got on Borderlands 3 over there, man?
I've played some Borderlands 3.
Alright. So is it Borderlands 3 for you?
I mean, realistically, it would have been Borderlands 3 for me anyways. Just
based on the type of game that you are looking for?
Yeah, it's purely based on the fact that I like heavy looting systems, and Borderlands is gun porn. That's literally what Borderlands is. It's always gun porn. And based off of how long they made people wait for Borderlands, and based off of how well Borderlands itself was received, I would probably give it to Borderlands, as my pick. But I could understand if it doesn't go towards Borderlands. I actually feel like this category is probably the closest on all of them, in my opinion. I feel like all of these games are really solid and have a good chance.
Exactly.
Minus Death Stranding, only because it was received so bad.
Yeah, Death Stranding is an odd duck. I'm still struggling with how I feel about that game.
I think everybody is.
Resident Evil 2 for sure takes this one for me, because I played Link's Awakening, I played Borderlands, I played Death Stranding. I didn't get to pick up Control or Sekiro, but I do think I will pick up Sekiro just because I loved the Fallen Order so much.
Yep.
That the comparison there, I really want to see what that's all about. But Resident Evil 2 for sure takes this one for me, and I think that if it gets snubbed for Game of the Year, I think that it also takes action adventure game as well. Sekiro has a really good chance of beating it out.
Sekiro, I feel like the people that played Sekiro are probably still playing Sekiro because they're trying to beat that stupid level where the ape cuts his head off and the boss turns into a second phase boss and then just kills you instantly. But that's also the fans are just super, super hardcore on it.
Oh, by the way, guys, spoilers.
Oh, I mean, it's in the trailer.
Yeah, makes sense. But so I guess there is one more. Sorry. Best ongoing game of the year. Final Fantasy 14.
Yup, okay.
Fortnite.
Oh, gross.
Destiny 2.
Okay.
Rainbow Six Siege.
Yup.
Or Apex Legends.
Where's all the good games?
See now,
why isn't Path of Exile in this one? Path of Exile should be in this. I'm sorry, hands down.
That's the thing that always is interesting. It doesn't seem like there's very much variety in these categories.
You know what it is? I'll tell you what it is. Path of Exile's console release wasn't super great.
No.
And all of these games have had great console releases.
It's a big market, man.
It is. And I get that. I get that it's a big market. I do. I think out of that, Final Fantasy will probably take the cake.
In my opinion, I think that it should win. I think that Apex Legends wins it, though. Just because I do think it gets snubbed for multiplayer game of the year.
Yeah, you think it'll get snubbed there, and then it will pick this one up?
I think it gets best ongoing, just because of its layout. But then again, Fortnite, man, that people are in love with how that created the season pass formula, and
it's true. But it did recently. It literally quartered its numbers.
But the thing, I guess, best ongoing game kind of gives it an out of getting another award this year for more stuff, even though it's released for the past 3 years.
Yeah, I mean this is kind of a funny award, anyways, because I feel like Final Fantasy might have won this one before, and that might affect it.
Yeah, maybe this is a championship belt that they can just bring back every year, and it's reigning, defending, and then the next guy comes in, and it's like, oh no, he's still your champ. Sorry, best ongoing game still, Final Fantasy 14. And I guess that's my opinion too. But
yeah, I don't know. I feel like Final Fantasy personally should take this one.
So to the big bad game of the year, Control, Death Stranding, Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice, Resident Evil 2 Remake, The Outer Worlds, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Finally snuck in here. Last year it got snubbed because it released too late.
Yes.
But people still love it. People still play it. Can it deal with the likes of Resident Evil and Sekiro? Because I think those are the two big challengers that it has.
Okay, so I think the one... Obviously, I'm not really a Smash player.
Right.
I personally think Smash should take it because, they've put so much into this one, just out of, doing research and hearing you and Paul talk about it and, actually seeing the game. This one seems like it's got the most in-depth. They cared about the players the most. They tried to bring back everything that the player loved and wanted. I feel like that personally sounds like it should take it to me because it show it's the company showing how much they care, and this is kind of the fan game. If you know what I mean.
I agree wholeheartedly with you that this was for the fans this time. This Super Smash Brothers they're putting every character in there that you ever had. It's satisfied everybody's taste. If you had that one character that you wanted back, it's there. You have these crazy new characters that are coming in from all these third party, Joker from Persona 5 and some really deep cuts the most recent guy there.
You're looking at the wrong guy for that information.
Terry. Yeah, anyway. So I do hope that Super Smash does win Game of the Year. I don't think it will. I think that Sekiro will take Game of the Year just because it's so big this year. I think that even Resident Evil 2, with how all that resonated with people, and really nothing else in this category I think even stands a chance. Death Stranding maybe if there's a ballot box mix up, but
I mean, I think I'm with you. For the one that I think will win will be Sekiro. I still would like to see, Smash Bros. Win this one.
Yeah.
What was your personal pick on it?
My personal pick would be probably Super Smash, but just because I like to see the game that maybe didn't quite make it for last year's get in there and maybe somehow win it, even though it's kind of
playing for the underdog. Yeah.
Pushed back in the mind, because it's over a year now since that game's release. So, or well, is it? No, I guess it did come out in December, didn't it?
Yeah, it came out
almost exactly a year.
Yeah, it kind of it's definitely not fresh in people's mind, but at the same time, it's not always a good thing to be fresh in people's minds. Look at Death Stranding.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, maybe if Death Stranding had come out when it was supposed to, earlier in the year, people might have looked back on it with rose-colored glasses, oh yeah, Death Stranding, walking around with those packages in the horrible oil rain was really great. But so yeah, Game of the Year, Super Smash Brothers. Let's go, guys.
Oh yeah.
That's everything we have for you today on this show. But tune in next week when we have our big Pokemon conversation, hopefully. And if that doesn't happen, we'll figure something out, and we'll have this conversation again, you and me.
That's true. I gotta slip this in really quick.
Go ahead.
December 13th is the new release of the next season of Path of Exiles. This is going to be a bossing league, and there's going to be a lot to kind of unfold and kind of patch through. Mm-hmm. I'm going through a lot of the details now and kind of putting together a little something. So even probably next week, even if we do the Pokemon podcast, I'm going to sneak in just a little Path of Exiles slip.
I think there'll be enough time for us to do our usual rigmarole of what we've been actually touching on, and then we'll get into the Pokemon stuff. But also, before we go, I wanted to mention that there are some announcements that usually happen during the Game Awards that we should all
true.
look out for. I was going to have us maybe predict like one or two of them if I had more time, but unfortunately we don't have enough time. But yeah, like, subscribe, comment in the comments below. We skipped the question this week. We're gonna reassess how we're gonna present the question each week. But maybe we'll do something a little different. We're fucking around with it.
Yeah. If you have any ideas, maybe you could...
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah,
let us know what we could do to please you, to entertain. Because that's what we're here to do. We're here to talk to you about some video games. And that we have done. So we'll see you next week. Peace.
Glass out.